matter, let us bring in our guests for a polite discussion. Here now is our friend Mark Walsh. He's former Senior Vice President at AOL. He's also founding CEO of Air America, and he currently hosts the serious show Left Jab. Also with us, CNBC contributor and syndicated columnist Jerry Bowyer. Okay, it's good to see both of you. Mark, let me start with you. I think the taxpayers are by far the biggest losers in this deal, which strikes me as a real bad idea. Your thought? You want to defend taxpayer here?
Well, I want to defend prepackaged bankruptcy versus a very messy bankruptcy. Now, you posited that what should have happened is 6 months ago, we should have had a real bankruptcy, and Carl Icahn or some other sources would have come in and picked it up. And I think there's no way to have a clean or an unmessy real bankruptcy. So I would argue against that just because of the lawyers and the fees and the fights over assets. And by the way, you and I should have bought lawyer fees futures because
well,
the lawyers
be the winner, Mark. Yes, those are the guys. Be the winner. But my friend, going back to clean or unclean or whatever you're going to call it, the reality is the taxpayers wouldn't be out $100 billion. The second reality is the government wouldn't own a car company. The government can't run anything, much less a big car company. Now, that's my point.
Well, here's my point back to you, which is a clean bankruptcy gets the unions in bed. And without the unions agreeing to this, a very dirty bankruptcy would be virtually a death knell for GM as we know it. Remember, GM is one of the key components of the industrial sector of the United States. We have to have both the unions in bed, the bondholders in bed, the shareholders get crammed down, and we now as taxpayers in the U.S. government own a chunk of GM. We're the funder of last resort in this, and a prepackaged clean bankruptcy with the union in bed is the only way to do it, in my opinion.
I mean, Jerry Bowyer, philosophically, all right?
Yes.
Philosophically, what does this say about the country? You know, it's funny. We could get into a million details in the weeds about these contracts. The reality is Uncle Sam's going to own over 70%. That is to say you and me and Mark. I think this is absolutely the wrong direction. It is an assault on free market capitalism. That's what I think. And I don't get it, Jerry. Where is this taking this country?
Well, I'm not sure. Not in a good direction. I mean, I understand Mark's point that, you know, that this kind of prepackaged, preordained, jammed-through bankruptcy is what is necessary to get the union in bed. But, you know, they lost their Viagra benefit, so I'm not sure if, you know, if they really want to get there. No, but seriously, this is absolutely ridiculous, Larry, and this is absolutely silly to say that we're going to throw out the bankruptcy code, we're going to throw out Chapter 11, we're going to throw out Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution, which says a uniform bankruptcy system for the United States, because, you know, it's messy if you actually give creditors a place at the table where they actually get a chance without government coercion to actually try to negotiate to get some of their money back.
Capitalism is sometimes
a little messy negotiation?
Free
I mean,
markets
they made
are messy,
loan.
but I'll tell you what's even messier, Mark, is a bunch of so-called expert central planners sitting in the White House, among other things, by the way. I mean, this financing is so phony. It is going to cost us billions, tens of billions of dollars more that they're not talking about. They want to make little green compact two-door cars that most folks don't want to buy.
Unless gas goes to $7.
The only way to possibly produce that stuff cheaply would be to go to non-union, offshore, lower-wage countries like Mexico and China. The UAW won't get it. They won't let it happen. The White House won't let it happen. This is yet another hosing for our market system and for we, the taxpayer, which is my biggest concern.
But, Larry, do you want millions of auto workers to be lining the streets getting unemployment benefits?
Happened already, my friend. That's the problem. It happened with steel. It's happened with railroads. It's happened with other car companies.
How are we getting to millions?
Well,
can someone do the math of how we got to millions? There's 200,000 employees for General Motors, and a Chapter 11 bankruptcy wouldn't even put all those people out of work. So how in the world, other than histrionic, how in the world
this to Microsoft. Compare this to Cisco, for heaven's sakes. Compare this to Intel. Compare this to biotech. That's where the growth in this country is coming from, not these old industries. Let the market sort it out, Mark. That's what I'm suggesting, not the planners in the White House.
You know, I love your free market passion, Larry. I absolutely do. And I think deep down, I completely agree with you. But let's be realistic for just a second. This is a compressed moment in time. This is not steel. This is not other major industries that had a slow decline into the morass. This is a short period of time where our economy compressed in a way that we haven't seen in decades. So when these times are like this, you have to have negotiations, you have to have pressure, you have to have government interference, And I do agree with you, it is interference. But I also disagree, or I should say I disagree with you, that the taxpayers will get it in the rear end. I believe taxpayers and shareholders of GM will have a cleaner, leaner company. They'll make some dough.
Not a nickel. Jerry Bowyer,
Mark, you were an investor. You started a company.
Yes.
It didn't work out, but you put your money on the line. If you want to invest in General Motors, be my guest. Godspeed to you. But don't force me to invest in it because I don't happen to think it is a good investment.
By the way, shouldn't we have like a vote or a plebiscite before all the taxpayers, whatever, a couple of 100 million taxpayers, are forced to pony up? And by the way, Jerry, while I'm on this subject, since Mark is an investor, and I believe deep down he is a capitalist, or he has those instincts, Jerry,
yes.
What about this California story? They're going bankrupt. They're out of money. Yeah. Now, are we, the taxpayers, going to own California?
Yeah,
and after you open that door, we talking Jersey? Are we talking New York? Are we talking Illinois? What are we talking about here?
We're going to pick up a lot of beachfront property, Larry.
What do you think, Mark?
We're going to be investors in beachfront property.
Would you rather own Hummer or Sunset Boulevard? Let's boil it down to that. Now, these are failed brands in GM that they're going to get rid of, but you can't let California fail either. Look, these are weird times, guys. I know that I agree with you. These are basic tenets that we are losing, but we have to do it now.
You know, they're going to get weirder. If we keep bailing out, expect more weirdness because bailing out encourages reckless behavior.
See, we are taking the country towards Italy, the old Italy, Britain before Thatcher. Yes, decades ago, the old Soviet Union. America has never been in the business of buying and owning large companies before. Now, we own a whole barrel full of them. We own banks, we own insurance, we own Fannie and Freddie, we may own California. This is the thing that troubles me, Jerry Bowyer. This puts us down the road towards serfdom. There is no question in my mind. We are going in the wrong direction while the rest of the world is going towards markets, Jerry Bowyer.
Yes, which puts us at an enormous disadvantage. We're raising taxes as the rest of the world is cutting them. We're hyper-regulating as the rest of the world is deregulating. We are losing our edge, and this is a concentrated moment. Mark is right. We're losing our edge very quickly.
Mark, I want Air America to succeed. I want your venture. No, I mean that because I love competition of all kinds. You make me better, just as I hope my point of view makes you better. But what will happen is capital will leave this country when it sees the direction America is going in. Interest rates will go up, and there'll be not. You know, I want you to create a company that has 10,000 employees. The trouble is, this is the wrong way to do it. The wrong precedent, Mark. I'm going to give you the last word.
Well, the last word is we did invest in Chrysler in the old days. We did invest in Boeing in the old days. The government has stepped in and checked out industrial destabilization and tried to stabilize it. This is not new. What you're arguing about is the scale. So we shouldn't say that what they're doing is wrong. What we should say is the scale may be wrong. So, Larry, you're a red meat guy, and I love it about you, but I think this is the right thing to do at this time.
I am going to say it's wrong. It's wrong. The scale is wrong. The size, the scope, the scale, the dollars, everything is wrong. Taxpayers are going to be furious. Mark Walsh, you're terrific. Jerry Bowyer, the same. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks,
Coming up, President Obama never met a czar he didn't like. Hampton Pearson reports on the search for a new cybersecurity chief when we come right back. You are watching the Kudlow Report. I am one unhappy camper about this General Motors story, and now California, too. We'll be right back to talk about it.